package this morning, President Tinubu preaches love, tolerance, sacrifice at Eid al-Kabir. Workshop on revised national gender policy kicks off in Uyo. Police nab man who sold son for 400,000 naira in Akwa Ibom. Plus, Inspector General of Police orders convoys to obey traffic lights, other regulations. Stay tuned for details of these and other reports in just a moment. Hello, good morning. Welcome to the news. My name is Mercy Eke. President Bola Ahmed Tinubu has underscored the need for Nigerians to face the future with vigor, renewed hope and confidence that tomorrow will be better and brighter amidst present challenges. In his Salah message, the president said the present challenges, especially with struggling economy and submarine security challenges, were not insurmountable. President Buhari wished all a happy Salah celebration, stressed the need to multiply good deeds with kindness to fellow Muslims and other helping and supporting the weak and vulnerable in the society. He also stressed the need for Muslims to imbibe and manifest core values such as complete devotion to Allah, tolerance, patience, perseverance, selflessness, love and compassion inherent in the exemplary life of Prophet Ibrahim. Aspirants warming up for chairmanship and councillorship positions in the forthcoming local government elections in Akwa Ibom State have been informed that the zoning principle will be upheld in the different local government areas and wards. Speaking at a social event over the weekend, which had in attendance a large fellowship of local government chairmen, Governor Moino said the clarification became necessary to restrain the aspirants from frivolous spending. Government House reporter Udo Aikon has details.
Emphasizing that the whistle for the next local government elections is yet to be blown, Pastor Moino advised aspirants and stakeholders in the local government areas to put their intentions on hold until clarifications are received from the electoral umpire.
I'm hearing that people have already started consultation for chairmanship. Please don't spend your money. I will not pay anybody for association of attempted consultants for chairmanship because I know the pressure group say we are going to spend money, reform the pressure group. They should reform. I'm not sent you to spend money. Please wait and wait and wait. We are trying to ensure that government takes shape and we're doing the best we can. Not doing anything then government take position. A group from pressure groups from Association of Attempted Chairmen, we will not listen to you. And we have not issued blow the whistle yet for local government elections. So I'm advising you what is the money you need to save the money.
The governor, who said he would not go against existing zoning arrangements, insisted that the People's Democratic Party, the PDP, would not compensate any individual or groups engaged in consultations for positions not zoned to their wards.
If zoning do not favor okay, don't even try it. I will not support anyone. I've never one year their zoning formula, and we all know it. So nobody else them but only can. But I'm on pressure some months. I will not go against zoning. Let us know that.
On the skirmishes in some places occasioned by the mapping exercise, which is in court, Pastor Eno called on local government chairmen as chief security officers to ensure the maintenance of peace and order.
I know that some local governments have gone to court. Naturally, when the case is in court, you maintain peace. Nobody is coming to take your land or do anything. We will wait for all the fireworks to be done in the court. So please, there is no need whatsoever for anyone to encourage, and we are aware, we are security informed that some local government chairmen are encouraging and trying to hide behind to create. Once that happens, please, we will bring the full weight of the law. Let local government chairmen hear me clearly. I will not surrender my mandate as the governor of this state to anyone. And we like to work in peace, we like to show that we are peaceful people, but at the same time we will react when we have to. And this is not a threat. As the local government chairman of any local government, we will hold that local government chairman responsible for any breakdown of law and order in his domain.
Udwakeko, Akbc News.
100 million naira educational fund has been instituted by the Akwa Ibom State government for students with disabilities in public tertiary institutions. Governor Moino, who announced this endowment when he met with a cross-section of students with disabilities at Government House Uyu, and also appointed 2 of the students as his personal assistants. Udwakeko tells us more.
Announcing the intervention, Governor Moino said that he was moved by the passion to give the student body a sense of belonging to underscore the political inclusion drive of his administration. He mandated the Office of the Accountant General, the Secretary to State Government, Ministry of Education, as well as the Ministry of Women Affairs and Social Welfare to supervise the disbursement of the funds by ensuring that school fees are paid directly to the schools of the beneficiaries and allowances given to the students after due profiling.
We will run an inclusive government, and that inclusivity is just inclusivity. We want to include everyone, men, women, physically challenged, party lines, everything. We bring people together and talk with them. If the physically challenged ones amongst us want to go to school, the least we can do is to support them. So at many times I attend your events, I find it's always a point I feel that we should do. So today we have come here to celebrate you, to let you know that the government is a caring government. We'll always include you in what we do.
The governor announced a cash donation to one of the physically challenged students, Mr. Demi Emmanuel, in addition to a monthly stipend to aid his participation in the law school, and assured him of automatic employment in the Ministry of Justice on completion of the program.
We want to make sure that he is comfortable. So I have approved 5 million naira to make sure that he pays all his dues, he gets his accommodation, everything provided for. And on a monthly basis, we'll send support to him, 250,000 every month. Is that okay for you, sir? Yes. Okay. By the grace of God, I look forward to attending your call to bar. When you finish, you already have employment waiting for you.
I remember the last day we wrote our exams. Those who had the means seriously mocked me that the promise I was celebrating on Facebook was just an excess from Akwa Ibom politicians, but I would gladly go back to them to show them that it wasn't really an excess, but it was a promise that is not only kept but fulfilled.
2 of the students, Emmanuel Wisdom and Ubong Imoikbe, were appointed personal assistants on student matters and personal assistant on students with disability, respectively.
Just tidy up. Whether you go to medical school, wherever you are, you can do your work from there. So, and then Ubong Imoekbe will be my PA on students with disabilities. So you work and ensure so that you can brief me from time to time what it is. We want to make sure that we have a way of catering for everyone.
We don't take this for granted. We really appreciate this. And this is our commitment and our loyalty, and we'll continue to pray. We are administration. This shows that you really have a love and passion for the set of students.
Udwakeko, Akbc News.
Akwa Ibom State First Lady Pastor Patience Umoina has called on civil society organizations, healthcare providers, and other relevant stakeholders to strengthen collaborations in the fight against drug abuse and illicit trafficking in the state. The governor's wife made the call during the commemoration of the 2023 International Day Against Drug Abuse and Illicit Trafficking. The celebration had the theme, People First, Stop Stigma and Discrimination, Strengthen Prevention. Margaret Bassey reports that the event was organized by the National Drug Law Enforcement Agency, Akwa Ibom State Command, in collaboration with the State Drug Control Committee.
Pastor Patience Eno, who performed her first official function as the chairperson, Akwa Ibom State Drug Control Committee, acknowledged the importance of the day, which serves as a reminder on the devastating impact of drug abuse and illicit trafficking on individuals, families, and society, calling on all to create awareness and work towards effective solutions to addressing the stigma and discrimination. She lauded the immediate past First Lady for laying a foundation to eradicate the scourge in the state, as well as NDLEA for being at the forefront. She solicited for community outreach and targeted campaigns to address the root cause of the crime.
As you all know, drug abuse is a crime, not just against humanity, but against God. Hence, the need for all hands to be on deck to rid our society of the effects of drug abuse. Prevention, they say, is better than cure. Remember that our country needs our youth as a future and harbinger of progress.
The State Commandant of National Drug Law Enforcement Agency, Mrs. Obot Bassey, said the event was targeted at sensitizing youths on the need for a drug-free society. Mrs. Bassey stated that from July 2022 to May 2023, the Akwa Ibom State Command of NDLEA has arrested a total of 239 suspects, convicted 59 drug offenders, counseled 160 drug addicts, as well as treated and rehabilitated 15 of the culprits.
It is a day set aside to strengthen action at sensitizing the general populace, especially the youth, on the dangers of abuse and trafficking of illicit substances. Enable them to take the right decision against substance abuse.
Goodwill messages were presented by Mrs. Inemeset Enoberwa, Mrs. Margaret Udemoto, and representatives of different uniform organizations who all expressed their determination to strengthen action and cooperation to achieve the goal.
We are going to spread the news that we are going to hear today across our state. I promise that we will go and teach our people in the rural area.
Drug is the enabler of most crime.
As we admonish our children in our different prayer altars, let's tell them the dangers of drugs.
And also promise that we also assist in any way they are needed.
The matter of drug is not a joking matter. If not taken seriously, we will soon not have any generation to take over from us.
The event drew stakeholders and students from select secondary schools across the state and featured plenary session, drama, and presentation of prizes to winners of NDLEA 2023 essay competition, as well as gifts to the wife of the governor. Margaret Bassey, Akbc News.
Meanwhile, the state deputy governor, Senator Akone Yaranyi, has called for a more humane approach in the fight against drug abuse and illicit trafficking among the younger generation. Senator Yaranyi made the call at the 2023 United Nations International Day Against Drug Abuse and Illicit Trafficking in Uyo. A Government House reporter, Three Malkun, has the details.
Senator Yarayi, who made the remarks, enumerated the enormous problems constituted by drug abuse and illicit trafficking, noting that its harm has destroyed the mental and physical health of people, therefore increasing criminal activities in communities. She pointed out that drug abuse was undoubtedly one of the biggest challenges that face the modern world, and its widespread impact, the offenders, their families, and the society are affected directly and indirectly. The senator commended the United Nations Office on Drug and Crime, UNODC, and its Nigerian affiliate, the National Drug Law Enforcement Agency, NDLEA, for initiating a change of approach in the fight against the menace.
We must collectively step up efforts in the area of sensitization. Sometimes ignorance is the greatest sponsor of crime. Once there is a knowledge gap, wrongdoing increases. The campaign against drug abuse and illicit drug trafficking should be taken to our secondary schools, tertiary institutions of learning, churches, and markets. Since health is a major item in the ARISE agenda, the administration of Pastor Umar will support efforts aimed at safeguarding the mental and physical health of Akwa Ibom people. Be rest assured that you have a partner in this administration in this fight to rescue the minds of our youth.
The event featured presentation of a souvenir to the state deputy governor by the state commander of NDLEA, Mrs. Obot Basi. Otumi Maokun, Akbc News.
The abuse of psychoactive drugs has become a public health issue and an issue of national concern. Such concerns have focused not only on the economic, psychological, and behavioral impact of substance abuse, but also its hazards on social and moral values, as well as threats to progress of society. In the following report, Eteinaiba examines the dangers of drug abuse and possible ways of curbing it.
Global, national, state, and local efforts have been taken to curtail substance use and abuse, which experts say constitute a critical public health problem. According to the World Drug Report 2021 of the United Nations Office on Drugs and Crime, estimated 284 million people between 15 and 64 years had used drugs in the previous years worldwide, while 11.2 million people inject drugs globally. The burden of drug abuse has also been related to organized crime, illicit financial flows, corruption, terrorism, and insurgency. Why do people abuse drugs, and which drugs are mostly abused, especially in Nigerian society? Mrs. Obot Basi, the Akwa Ibom State Commander of the National Drug Law Enforcement Agency, speaks.
In Akwa Ibom State, what is mostly abused is cannabis, cocaine, heroin, tramadol, diazepam, codeine, cough syrup, and a host of other drugs.
According to experts, drug abuse is increasing at an alarming rate, causing serious threat to every nation.
It ranges from stagnation, damaged individuals, damaged relationships, health problems, financial distress, depression and anxiety, crimes, and even death.
Most of these things are introduced by people who have gone outside the country and transported one thing or the other, and people start. Nowadays we only read in books about cocaine, and Indian hemp was slightly closer, let me say so.
On what leads people into drug abuse, many addicts who spoke off camera, said the drug abuse starts like a game, a fad arising from peer group influence, and that it helps them overlook harsh realities and depression. In a bid to stem the tide of drugs abuse in Nigeria, several laws and policies were established by government under agencies such as the National Drug Laws Enforcement Agency, National Agency for Food and Drugs Administration and Control, Pharmacists Council of Nigeria, and a Presidential Advisory Committee. What are the achievements recorded by the NDLEA, especially in Akwa Ibom State, in the fight against drug abuse?
The NDLEA Akwa Ibom State Command has been committed to saving humanity through its mandate of eliminating illicit drugs from the homes and the streets of Akwa Ibom State through the arrests, seizures of illicit drugs, prosecution of drug dealers, preventive mechanisms of campaign and awareness creation on the consequences of illicit drug abuse. The command is earnestly involved in the rehabilitation of persons who use drugs within the state.
Some respondents suggested other measures to help in reducing drug abuse in the society.
If one could make job opportunities engaging for the youths, I think this would be one of the reasons that will also reduce drug abuse.
People should abstain themselves from drugs. Like if they can't do it themselves, they can seek counseling from others, ask people.
The church, that is where our morals are built. The church or the mosque or even traditional worshippers have a code, a moral code. If the society will get back to that traditional way of living, where a child does something, the whole village is against it, and it will be disciplined from the house.
For me, I think that the society and also the government should look for a way to rehabilitate drug abuse, that it shouldn't come to an existence through the help of enforcing of drug abuse task force.
As the United Nations International Day Against Drug Abuse and Illicit Trafficking is celebrated June 26, 2023 on the theme People First, Stop Stigma and Discrimination, Strengthen Prevention, there is need for all to team up and fight against drug abuse in the society. Etienne Ibanga, Akbc News.
A two-day sensitization workshop on the revised 2021 to 2026 National Gender Policy in the South-South geopolitical zone has commenced in Uyo. The workshop, organized by the Federal Ministry of Women Affairs, Abuja, in collaboration with the African Development Bank and the Akwa Ibom State Government, centered on ensuring gender equality. A.I. Paul reports.
Declaring open the two-day workshop attended by delegates from Rivers, Delta, Bayelsa, Cross River, Edo, and Akwa Ibom State, the Permanent Secretary, Federal Ministry of Women Affairs, Mrs. Monilola Olaudo, said it is aimed at brainstorming on gender parity. Mrs. Odo said in the year 2000, the federal government came up with rights of women. In 2006, gender policy, and last year, the revised gender policy to promote a system where everyone has equal rights irrespective of gender. The Federal Permanent Secretary, however, lamented that despite all the sensitization in gender equality, few women have been voted for in the National Assembly, with men taking over 90% dominance there, calling on political parties, stakeholders, and all concerned to give more women opportunity to participate in governance.
But as we all know, many women and girls still face discrimination on the basis of sex and gender. This gave rise to the review of the 2006 National Gender Policy. The overall goal of the 2021 National Gender Policy is to build a just society in which women, girls, and other vulnerable groups will enjoy the same opportunities, rights.
The Permanent Secretary for Akwa Ibom State Ministry of Women Affairs and Social Welfare, Mrs. Margaret Adam, represented at the event by Barrister Nkechi Udo, said gender cuts across every sector, the need to uphold its principles and carry everyone along. Mrs. Adam called on everyone to work towards the realization of gender equality in the country.
Gender looks at everything, looks at equality, looks at equity. Because sometimes when you're talking about equity, equality providing everything, there are some barriers. And for women are saying remove the barriers. And
in a lecture titled Policy and Objectives, Priority and Institutional, Professor Mohammed Laden, a professor of law, dwelt on the difference between women's rights and gender policy and harped on the need for men to give women 50% rights in all sectors.
We realized that there were actually new strategies and new approaches to this silent pandemic affecting women and the girl child. And it was very important, for the policy of 2008, which in itself has expired.
Also speaking were representatives of security agencies, religious leaders, royal fathers, and stakeholders.
I want to thank the organizer of this program.
As a Christian leaders, we read the Holy Scriptures, and we continue to do our best to ensure that there is equity between men and women in the body of Christ.
This issue of you are a woman, you shouldn't jump this, you should not play ball. There is no gender there.
There is need for gender mainstreaming. The current gender policy provides for 50% affirmative action, meaning that at least 50% of those elected and appointed into governance should be women.
I'm encouraging everyone that has come here to take this matter seriously.
It is a thing that everyone of us will appreciate, because the music as visible as the world gets civilized.
A former commissioner for agriculture in the state, Dr. Glory Edith, has donated a chapel to the Presbyterian Church of Nigeria, Ikorobong, Ibianibu local government area. Christian Mary Mitchell Slessor Chapel, the edifice is sited where the Christian missionary died in Usei Koroku, Ibianibu local government area. Mary Slessor is remembered for stopping the killing of twins in Lower Cross River Basin. Paul reports.
In 1876, a Scottish missionary by name Mary Mitchell Slessor came to Nigeria at the age of 28, landed the then Calabar, did her missionary job, and later settled in Itu in 1904. Known as the White Queen of Okoyong and Mambakara, Mary Slessor, after traversing the present-day Akwa Ibom state, including Ikbeikon in a local government area, built schools, churches, hospitals, stopped the killing of twins, and stayed in Usei Koroku till her death on January 15, 1915. These numerous good works done by Mary Slessor may have prompted many people, including the former Commissioner for Agriculture, Dr. Glory Edith, to find ways of immortalizing her. This Dr. Edith did by building and donating a chapel in Mary Slessor's name to Presbyterian Church of Nigeria.
On behalf of the Presbyterian Church of Nigeria and our trustees, I accept the key in token of the trust committed unto us.
Addressing the Presbyterian Church members, Aqua Synod, and guests who attended the dedication of Mary Slessor Chapel, Dr. Glory Edith said her grandfather lived with Mary Slessor along two other men in Ikbeikon for years, and that Ma Slessor, as she was told, impacted the area positively. She donated a generating set to the chapel and promised to pay the salaries of the chaplain there and other staff for 2 years.
So Mary Slessor lived there. My grandfather lived with her. And of course, she did so many things. She built, established so many churches in Ipe Parish. And when we grew up, I told myself and our family, because from time to time we used to discuss about Mary Slessor. And I told God, it's a dream of many years that by the special grace of God, if we have any opportunity, we will do something in memory of Mary Slessor. And today I want to thank God because the dream has been fulfilled.
Dr. Kaniere Campo, who supervised the chapel project, thanked the Usei Koroku community for giving them the needed support.
And also thank God that throughout the period we worked in this place, this place is a difficult terrain to do construction work. But God saw us through.
Other guests who graced the occasion thanked Dr. Gloridit for such gesture and donated for the upkeep of the edifice.
I want to believe the man that will be here will take care of this place, will have to live in this place.
Congratulations, Dr. Gloridit and your whole family. When I heard that you're going to dedicate and donate a chapel, it touched my heart really, because whatever you do for God is eternal. The blessings are in this life and in the life to come.
A good product. That is Dr. Glory.
Yes.
Thank you. Man, thank you. They're coming today to see this digital building. It's a great thing. She has left a legacy.
And Dr. Glory is somebody that is known for these acts. Service to God and humanity. She's a model to us. She's a material to us.
I don't know if she did not come where we have been today.
In a sermon on the theme, What Legacy Will You Leave Behind?, the prelate of the Presbyterian Church of Nigeria and moderator of the General Assembly, His Eminence Dr. Akbc charged Christians to emulate Mary Slessor, who after 108 years of her death is still celebrated, and saluted Dr. Gloridit for her magnanimity of immortalizing the female legend.
Today we are celebrating the legacy of Mary Slessor, a woman who lived, who had no child, who had no house.
What immortalizes a man is not what he does for himself, but what he does for others.
The event featured thanksgiving, prayer for the donor, and dedication of the chapel.
What Mary Mitchell Slessor, a missionary who came to Nigeria and died in 1915, did to humanity is worth emulating, as exemplified by Dr. Gloridit. From Usei Koroku, the village where Mary Slessor died, Akbc News.
The Akbc State Police Command has arrested one Gabriel Ekpri, a native of Ekri Tamakwarabon in its local government area, for selling his 9-year-old son for 400,000 naira. The command's public relations officer, Odiko McDonald, who disclosed this in a statement on Monday in Uyo, said the suspect was arrested by the Quick Intervention Squad of the command. McDonald said the suspect during interrogation confessed to the crime while blaming the act on the devil and economic hardship being experienced in the country. The PPRO said the Commissioner of Police of Akbc State, Olatoye Dirosimi, has described the sale of the 9-year-old boy as barbaric. Meanwhile, the Commissioner of Police has decorated 2 Deputy Commissioners of Police, Mr. Baba Lawan Audu, Area Commander, Eket Area Command, and Mr. Lawal Isamani, Department of Operations. Mr. Durusimi charged them to double their productivity while playing their new rules. The Inspector General of Police, Olukayode Egbetokun, has directed all police convoys on routine non-emergency movements to observe traffic regulations nationwide. Egbetokun gave the order on Monday when he met with the mobile police squadron commanders at the force headquarters, saying that it was mandatory for the police as law enforcers to also ensure they respect and obey the law. He said without obeying the law, the police lacked the moral high ground to interrogate and bring lawbreakers to book. Egbetokun, who said in line with his vision of building a rule of law complaints police force, promised to lead by example. The European Union Election Observation Mission, EU-EOM, has presented its final report on this year's general elections. The chief observer, EU-EOM, Barry Andrews, made the presentation at a press conference in Abuja yesterday. In its presentation, Andrews said that in the lead-up to the 2023 general elections, Nigerian citizens demonstrated a clear commitment to the democratic process. He noted that the election exposed enduring systemic weaknesses and signaled a need for further legal and operational reforms to enhance transparency, inclusiveness, and accountability. The EU-EOM noted that shortcomings in the law and electoral administration hindered the conduct of well-run and inclusive elections and damaged trust in INEC. With the aim of contributing to the improvement of future elections, the EU-EOM offered a 23-point recommendations for consideration by the Nigerian authorities to include: remove ambiguities in the law, establish a publicly accountable selection process for INEC members, ensure real-time publication of and access to election results, provide greater protection for media practitioners, address discrimination against women in political life, and impunity regarding electoral offences. The chief observer advised that there is an important need for political will to achieve improved democratic practices in Nigeria and inclusive dialogue between all stakeholders on electoral reform, and it remains crucial. He said the European Union stands ready to support Nigerian stakeholders in the implementation of these recommendations. Reacting, the National Commissioner Information and Voter Education Committee, Festus Okoye, said significant improvements in the 2023 elections have been reported thus far by international observers. Okoye noted the Commission will harmonize all the reports by international observers that have been presented and look at them holistically. And on that note, we conclude our package this morning. But just before we go, a quick reminder that President Bola Ahmed Tinubu has underscored the need for Nigerians to face the future with vigor, renewed hope, and confidence that tomorrow will be better and brighter amidst present challenges. In his Salah message yesterday, the president said the present challenges, especially with the struggling economy and submarine security challenges, were not insurmountable. That's a package this morning. Thanks for your time. My name is Mercy Eke.